Everything changed when I realized I was in a trap so dangerous and that I was the sole provider for my own safety at that particular moment. Sometimes we are so scared to a point of confusion and therefore end up losing our sense of direction. When you're in a state of panic, you definitely become uncomfortable and lose self-control. This is quite natural. Therefore, it is vital to be aware of the situation and learn how to react in order to save yourself from danger. Remember, when my attacker ordered me to undress that night, I was hesitant because I was not ready to lose my self-worth over a stranger. No way. I had promised myself not to give in to his wicked plans. Thinking of how I would escape the trap I was in at that moment was just a mere mystery with no clues at all. I was gasping for air and screaming in pain silently within my heart and could not make a sound at the same time for fear of worsening the situation. Sweating in a freezing cold night, yet so calm, is still a predicament to me today. My attacker was not amused by my courageous decision of not undressing. So, he moved slowly near me. He came closer to me, placed his weapon on my neck, ready to harm me. He then whispered in my ear that he was going to chop off my head if I was not going to follow his directions immediately. Fighting back in tears was my only solution, but never gave my attacker any sympathy. My absolute silence made him suspicious somehow, and I could see it from his eyes that were revealed through the 2 holes craftily made on his headgear. I appeared so peaceful, yet so confused with my silence, simply because I was scanning the horizon beyond the light from his torch to look for my escape through the heavy metal door in our bedroom. I was lonely, depressed, and confused. It was the longest hour I have ever encountered in my life. It was a moment of disappointment, to a point of leaving me regretting. A woman so strong and so calm emerged in me, giving me hope of getting out of the mess in victory. I dwelled in the power of calmness, an amazing tool that led to my escape. And that is why I am here today, to tell my story without any shame whatsoever. With the help of the light from my attacker's torch, I was able to quickly dash towards the heavy metal door that led out to the veranda, and how I opened it with both my hands at once remains anonymous today. The world was waiting eagerly to see my move in order to join me in my battle. As soon as I got out of my bedroom, I was received by a heavy downpour in a cold breeze and, of course, total darkness. I did not know where I was going, but I knew something mysterious was going to happen somehow. I found myself at our neighbor's door, pounding it with all my might, screaming for help, for someone to rescue me. My neighbor was quickly woken up by my loud siren, and she turned on the light on the torch of her phone to find out what was happening. Suddenly, there was a flare from the window with the pieces of glasses flying everywhere. My attacker was annoyed by the view of the light from my neighbor's torch, so he used his weapon to scare her from shining the light on him. He came to me and grabbed me by my neck. He shook me and tried to pull me away from the door. I was holding it tightly, and I refused to let go. He began kicking me and punching me furiously. The moment was becoming intense. My body was racing with adrenaline. Then I went silent. I could not scream anymore. I was numb. I stood by the door motionless, waiting for his next step. There was absolutely no one to rescue me. And to me, that was absolute power of calmness working in me again. I had no words. I was just holding onto the heavy metal door, waiting for my neighbor to open so I could rush inside. I waited for my rescue. I never saw it come. And it never came. Apparently, my neighbor was horrified by the sound of the weapon that broke the window into shatters and openly announced to me that she was not going to open the door to my rescue. Therefore, I decided to remain silent as I continued to fight my own battle with the hope of seeing a new dawn. It was all a mystery to me. I did not know how I was going to escape the battle so heavy for me to bear. Fighting single-handedly with a stranger who had a deadly weapon with him. Suddenly, a plan came to my mind. Imagine being in such a situation. Fighting for your life alone, knowing very well that all your neighbors can hear what you're going through, but for some reason, which is unknown, none of them is able to come to your rescue. Look out for the next episode of Journeys and Stories.